up, guys? Welcome to High Altitude Motorsports. Today we are doing part number 7 of the Paul Walker truck. We just started tearing down the frame and I forgot to turn my camera on already. Just completely slacking over here, getting the suspension all torn apart, and got this KRYPTONITE idler bracket support getting ready to get welded on. So we're gonna get all the suspension torn apart, get all the frame modified for our lift kit, and send this all to powder. So this is all of our parts kind of laid out for the lift kit. So yeah, let's get right into it. Alrighty guys, so as you saw, we pulled pretty much the whole front suspension out. It's really honestly pretty simple. Upper control arms, lower control arms, knuckle with the hub, the half shaft, the brakes, which is pretty simple, the shock, the steering, all relatively simple and straightforward. Then I actually did take out, so if you guys are familiar rebuilding these front diffs, this half shaft or stub shaft that goes into the diff is an absolute nightmare to take out. Sometimes you get lucky. Basically, it's this C-clip that can really mess you up. And so while it was up in the air, I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna try, see what happens. And it's just like a 1-2 tap, just a little tap tap. And sometimes it comes out, sometimes it doesn't. And thankfully, really helps that it just popped out. So now I'll be able to disassemble this front axle very simply with no problems. Kind of did a little cleanup. It's kind of organized. Most of this shit we're throwing away anyways, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, basically all we need to do is just get this front axle out and kind of go from there. We got the KRYPTONITE brace in, and that's pretty much about it. So get this front axle out, and then kind of what my goal is for today is get this axle out, and I might throw up the a couple pieces to figure out where I need to drill some holes and cut some things and whatnot. And yeah, things are going pretty well though. Front end's completely torn apart. Get this axle out, get this torn apart, and then kind of see how I'm feeling from there. But that's kind of the goal for today. So we'll see what happens. To get this front axle out, this bracket does need to be cut. So I'm gonna get the instructions out, see how far I need to cut it, and kind of go from there as far as that goes. And I think there are some diff modifications that I'm gonna have to do to this. So yeah, other than that though, going pretty well. Alrighty guys, so as you saw, we got the front axle out, or the diff. Very simple, especially with not having really anything around. So the whole front end there's really honestly nothing else. Just take a couple plastic clips out and everything, and it's ready for powder. So this is what I cut so far, and then I need to pull up the instructions and kind of see what I need to cut. And then also, since we're powder coating the frame, I'll probably clean it up a little bit more than what we'd normally do. Honestly, I know that the truck's not going to go back to a stock form, so we can get away with cutting a little bit more and kind of cleaning some stuff up. I might just take this bracket completely off and clean that up, take this bracket off. I could do it to the frame, I could not. I haven't really decided 100%. Also with this bracket, we're not gonna need these 2 holes here, so I could just, you know, cut this flush or maybe cut these 2 down. Also depends on, you know, like I said, what the instructions hold. So for now, I think I'm probably going to get this front axle taken apart and then go from there. I don't know about you, but I just love throwing things around and making a mess. So we got the whole front axle fully disassembled. There is a couple things that I still have to do on the front axle. Actually, really only one thing is press these 2 bushings out. So a couple bushings. Other than that, we pretty much have, like I said, the whole front end is done. I found the instructions. So I'm gonna get our cross members kind of placed in, do some modifications. I think we have to drill a couple holes, possibly cut some more off of this. I actually might take our diff housing now that it's empty and just kind of bolt maybe 2 bolts in and just kind of test fit the front diff as well. I think we have to shave off a little bit of the front diff. So I'll get that kind of put back together. That way we can test fit it and it'll be, you know, super light. But for right now, I'm gonna get the hitch off, get the axle out of the truck, get the leaf springs off, and just kind of start getting all this stuff basically taken apart. So then it's just a bare frame and kind of go from there. Kelderman kit I think is going to be pretty straightforward. Might have to drill a couple holes for the upper bag mount, and then the long arm looks like I'll probably have to drill 4 holes. I think there's actually 2 bolts that go through the bottom, so I'll kind of figure out where those need to be placed and then drill those holes out, which should be pretty simple. Kind of go through the instructions and kind of see. We got these mounts as well, but the lower bags, that just bolts on straight to the axle. Doesn't look like there's really anything to that as far as drilling or anything. So honestly, this Kelderman kit should be fairly simple. I gotta figure out what this is for. Just some bracketry. Honestly, this looks like the Cognito kit part, possibly. I'm not really sure. So we'll kind of go through everything, see where we're at, and you know, today's Saturday, so definitely going to be here tomorrow, Sunday, getting the rest of this thing stripped down and ready. Just want to get, you know, as far along as I possibly can. That way, you know, everything's done, send it to powder, and then kind of tell them, hey, we need, you know, unfortunately I need to get all this stuff back as soon as possible. And since this is an extended cab short bed, the frame's a little bit smaller, but the one downfall is that it is a GM. So all this undercoating is, you know, really a pain in the ass, and will probably have to be baked for days just to get it all melted off. So I might kind of have like a bonfire and try to scrape as much of this shit off as possible before we send it down there, because I really don't want to have any problems. The other thing I was thinking is I don't think I'm going to plug all the holes in the frame. I really want to, but it just adds so much time and we're already on a crunch. So we'll kind of see how today looks and then how tomorrow looks, and go from there if I want to get too carried away with, you know, plugging holes and stuff like that. So yeah, everything's kind of going pretty smoothly. That front axle, you know, that was the first GM front axle that I've torn apart, so I was watching a YouTube video, but everything went as smooth as I could have hoped for. So really happy with everything that turned out on this, and just gonna keep plugging away and getting the rest of this thing torn apart, and it's gonna just be a bare frame here, you know, very soon, which is gonna be awesome to finally get this project done and completed. Alrighty guys, so as you saw, the rear is just unbelievably easy. Just pop the leaf springs off. Had to take the hitch out to get the leaf spring bolts out. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Took the shocks off, took the brake line off. Obviously, it's a little bit more challenging when you got a bunch of stuff going on and that you care about, but yeah, pretty much got it all set. Everything's on the ground. I drained it, but a little bit of oil came out, but that's okay. So I'll pop the shocks off, pop the leaf springs out, pop the diff cover out. I got a aftermarket diff cover I want to test just to make sure that it works and kind of see what else we got going on. Should be pretty simple and straightforward. Also get the axles completely torn apart on this as well, which this axle is one of the easiest ones to tear apart. Really nothing too challenging about this. And as you can see, the frame is up there. Yeah, it's actually pretty sturdy. Obviously, you know, safety is important, but if this thing did fall, it's not like, you know, it's a big piece of steel, so there's not like a painted truck and, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars into it yet. But yeah, everything went really, really well. So I'm gonna keep working and getting more stuff done, just make it easier for tomorrow. I think honestly what I'm kind of gonna do is I'm gonna move the forklift. I might actually, you know what, that'd be way easier. I'll just pick the axle up, get the axle out, kind of out of the way. And then I wanna get the rear axle stripped tonight. And then that way, well, actually, should I or should I not? My only thing is I don't know where the Kelderman brackets go and where I need to put them. So I'll probably look up the instructions on the Kelderman kit just to see what I need to modify. And then I can basically come in tomorrow and then it'll be pretty simple, just doing frame modifications and getting the frame pretty much all straightened up. And then got to get the front and rear calipers torn apart. Thankfully it's got disc brakes, front and rear, not drums in the rear, because drum brakes are just kind of ugly in my opinion. So yeah, get some more stuff torn apart, and pretty much that's about it. Things are just moving, you know, really in a good direction. I'm happy with the progress that I've made. I've done this so many times that it just almost, you know, even though I put myself in this hard place to get things done, it seems like it honestly gets easier and easier the more times you do it, which, you know, makes sense. You get better at it over time. But this one's been going really, really smoothly. So yeah, I think just keep staying positive, getting some more stuff torn apart here. And yeah, I mean, there's really nothing else to say about it besides that everything is just going together as smoothly as it possibly can. So just keep going down that path and making sure everything keeps going smoothly. So also gonna have to do a massive cleanup. I honestly think my goal is just to get everything torn apart and then come in tomorrow, get more stuff torn apart, the frame modified, and then Monday get everything to powder first and then worry about getting stuff cleaned up, organized, and that kind of stuff. We also have to send a bunch of other stuff to powder. We got like the bumper brackets we're gonna powder coat blue, and some miscellaneous kind of pieces here and there that are gonna need to get powder coated just from other stuff. But yeah, just keep moving. That's all we got to do. So other than that, I'm gonna go look up the Kelderman instructions and then I'll be back out to keep working. Alrighty guys, so as you saw, I've just been doing a lot of tear down and stuff. We got the CV axles completely disassembled. You already saw yesterday us tear apart the front axle. We also got the front brakes disassembled. This is our parts washer. So all this stuff is just greasy, oily, and nasty. So we're gonna pop that down in like that. Lock this pin in place. Boom. So that goes like that. And then this is gonna get everything semi-clean. And then we will be able to just kind of, it helps powder coat out a little bit, and it's also nicer to transport it when it's not so nasty. So we will get this semi-clean and then off to powder coat in the morning. I don't think I can do this. Oh, there we go. Boom. All right. All right, so I don't know if I mentioned it, but I lost the Kelderman instructions for the rear. And I can pretty much figure it out, but I just don't want to drill holes or screw anything up. So I'd rather just not take the risk and wait until the morning to get the emailed instructions. It looks pretty simple. The only thing that I need to figure out is are these brackets, because I have to drill 6 holes on each side. But in the meantime, I'm going to get the leaf springs off, the shocks out, brake lines off, e-brakes out, take the diff cover off, test fit our new one. Probably just do a little bit of rear axle stuff and kind of figure that out. I can take the bump stops off, just get this kind of semi-ready. I might get the gear sets out. I haven't really decided yet. Just kind of see how things go. And we'll see how hard these leaf springs are going to do by myself. They're not going to be fun probably, but whatever. Alrighty guys, so as you saw, it's just been a massive chaotic day, and I just kind of finishing up kind of getting the frame cleaned up and ready. We drilled all those holes. There's 4 here, 2 on the bottom there. We got these 2 holes drilled out, these 2 holes drilled out, these 2 holes drilled out, these 2 holes drilled out. We took off the leaf spring perches. We took off the torsion bar bracket that went in these 4 holes. Literally so much work that goes into it. And honestly, we could left a lot of this stuff alone, minus drilling the holes. But it just makes things cleaner, and you know, it does take more work, but it's worth it in the end. There's these big brackets that sit right here, and I ended up cutting all those off, smoothing the frame out on both sides. This side turned out really, really awesome. And then once you grind it, I actually sand it down to get rid of the grind marks and clean up the frame. I also took off the diff bracket that was right there, smoothed that down. So yeah, look at this freaking mess of just nastiness. And that's after I've already sweeped once. But yeah, pretty much, I honestly think this frame is 100% ready now. I'll go through, I think there's a couple things that I need to do just to kind of finish it up. But it's pretty much ready to go, which is great news. Yeah, I think it's pretty much done. I think I'm gonna go through with a torch and kind of get some of these areas that have some thick undercoating and just kind of see if I can kind of help get some of that stuff off. But I'm going to end this video right now while I finish taking apart this diff. The pinion on this was really fucking jammed up, so we got the pinion out, and yeah, pretty much that's about it. So I'm gonna end the video and finish getting this rear axle torn apart. We got all the powder coated parts in here ready to go, and tomorrow is going to be the day we drop it off at powder coat, and fingers crossed that they get it done. It's a lot of fucking work, but we need it done. So other than that, that's gonna be a wrap on part 7 of the build. And thank you guys so much for watching this series. I haven't made a video in quite a while, so I'm getting back into the swing of things. I've just been so busy and just hustling, and I didn't have time to film or make videos or do any of that, but I really want to document the Paul Walker build. So if this video is all over the place, I apologize, and hopefully in the next upcoming parts, everything will be powdered and looking pretty, and it's going to be a great series. I'm going to try to get Connor or Ryan or someone to come down here and film as much as they can. That way I'm not bouncing back and forth, because we are on a bit of a time crunch. I think we have about 20-ish days until this needs to be completed. So now things are just getting nuts. So I just got word that they are powder coating the frame here in the next couple minutes. So we're gonna go down there, check it out. As you guys saw earlier, we picked up all of the other parts from powder. So this is the final piece of the puzzle. And as soon as we get this, then we can start building the truck. So happy times. Let's pray, cross our fingers, whatever we need to do to make sure that this frame turns out amazing and is perfect. So we are on our way. We're gonna get a little footage of them powder coating it and putting it in the oven. So for those of you that don't know what powder coating is, essentially it is a powder that is statically charged, like static electricity, and they're using a positive on one and a negative on the other, and then when they spray it, it's sticking to the metal using static electricity. And then when it goes into the oven at, I think, about like 300 to 400 degrees, what happens is the powder coat melts into the frame. I think that's kind of the basis of how I know. So it's a pretty crazy and cool process, and they're getting pretty close to being done, and then off to putting it in the oven. Alrighty guys, so as you saw in the last clips, we got the frame loaded in. It was kind of stressful getting the trailer all the way back into the very corner of the shop. We got the trailer in, we had some people help, we loaded it onto the rack. It's pretty safe and stable. And then after that, we laid out all the parts, which is just madness how much stuff we got going on. So this is going to conclude part number 7 of the Paul Walker build. I'm also going to include a couple clips from the paint shop, pictures and clips. The truck has pretty much been like fully painted now, and we just have to paint the bumpers and other accessory pieces. So hopefully within the next couple videos, we'll be able to see that all completely painted. But that's going to complete part number 7, and we're going to be starting part number 8 today, building that engine, and then possibly working on some of the frame stuff. Today's Saturday, so Saturday, Sunday, we're going to be working on getting some stuff done and making that a part 8 video for today and tomorrow's footage. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, you know what to do. Smash that like button, give us a subscribe, and we will see you guys in the next episode. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm out.